Mike, can I get you to squeeze half in? There we go. Perfect. You guys get close. All right, whenever y'all are ready.
All righty. So, brothers, what is the best Christian hip hop album?
Wow.
Just
wait,
one?
the best?
Well, give a few of them. It's hard. I know it's hard to pick
that
one.
question, it depends. I
So
mean,
top three.
Top three.
Top three.
Of all time.
my question is, how long has everyone been following Christian rap? Because I mean, if you came in during that era when cross movement was hot, then you're gonna probably choose the albums from there on. Me, I've been in the hip hop albums since '86.
Wow.
I was 9 years old. But
Was it
actually,
Christian hip-hop
consistently,
back in '86?
yeah. Stephen Wiley had Bible Break. It was the first one
86.
ever. I was
Was it
9.
good?
It was horrible. But no, check it out. But I got really serious about the Lord when I turned 15. No, I was 14. And the first album that I really got hip to was SFC, Save Man in the Jungle. That was like, man, that was mine. It just turned my world around. But I saw that the different phases of Christian rap as it went on. And the first album that just blew my mind was Gospel Gangsters Gang Affiliated. That was, now I know what, the name of the group sounds off and people are like, what is this? But man, I'm telling you, the production and everything, it was on of course at the time you had, NWA, you had Dr. Dre, but those guys, man, MC Solo, he's still one of my favorite MCs.
So are you saying that Gang Affiliated is in your top three of all
That's
time?
my top, I would say that's my, okay, this is what I'm gonna say. That was my favorite. I mean, it would be in the top three. It wouldn't be maybe my number one, but that was the one that made me go, oh my goodness.
What are
I used
your
to play
other
with
two?
friends and they were blown away.
What are your other two?
Okay, the number one album that
Gang
turned my world
Affiliated.
around was Heaven's Mentality.
Heaven's Mentality.
Yes, and
By Cross
Brady
Movement.
and all those cats know that the whole reason why Hazakim came was because of that. I never saw myself doing hip hop, but that album just turned me around, and that album was just ridiculous. So that would be my number one. Gang Affiliated, number two. Number three, oh man, Dynamic Twins, Words of the Wise. That was back in '90. That was a good album. Those brothers
In
were slept
90?
on. Yes, I'm telling you guys, man. Now, when it comes to Christian rap, like it's cool. I'm able to actually sit back and look at how it's progressed.
Let me quick question now. Is this just the nostalgia factor?
Right.
Old school. This is what I grew up on. When I was in junior high, I liked this girl, and we had the Dynamic Twins playing in the background.
Right.
When
My
those kind
parents
of
wouldn't
things-
let that happen. Mom and Dad. No, but you know what though? That's a good question. No,
So if you go back
honestly
and
though,
listen
if anything, yeah, there were some memories there because I was young, serving the Lord, and listening to that music when I was going, the second period, trying to witness to coworkers, like students and stuff, and they were listening to their thing, and I would say, check this out. There's a lot behind that.
Okay.
But as far as an album that made me go, man, okay, Christian rap is becoming legitimate now. This is when it becomes legitimate. I would say T-Bone's first album was kind of hot. He just sounded too much like a lot of the artists at the time. Matter of fact, he had that way of trying to sound too much where it sounded like it wasn't him.
Okay.
Whereas like Cross Movement, Gospel Gangsters, and some honorable mentions, Freedom of Soul.
No.
I just had to say their names because they were hot. Okay. Freedom of Soul. Okay, go ahead, guys.
Next, me. In no particular order, I would have to say Christology. And the reason I say Christology is I actually hated it when I first heard it. I hated all East Coast music. But,
Welcome to the family.
by God's grace.
Right.
But,
You were
after
born
just
again
listening-
at some point.
I guess you can say that. But yeah, once I listened to the album, really for the first time, I just saw how we was regurgitating everything this dude had already said. So it was just amazing to hear all those in-depth truths being communicated way back then. And, I mean, just dope lyrically. Deuce has not been able to do anything like that since. Will not be able to do anything like that.
Okay.
But that was an amazing album.
Okay.
Number two for me would probably be, of all time, would probably be Flame's album, Flame.
I had a
His
feeling
first
you were gonna
joint?
say
His
Flame.
first album. The reason I say that is I don't necessarily think that's his best album artistically.
Okay.
But I think that album had a great impact on Christian hip hop. Like this was the first time Cross Movement would say stuff, but Flame was coming at theological necks.
Right.
Like, yo, one is Pentecostal throwing cats over the bus, you know what I mean? Like, and for us in St. Louis, that was a pivotal album. It just, and for me, that's what it was. It was more the impact. I remember picking it up when it first came out, and it's raining, and we riding in my brother's car, and we listening to it. You know, so that had a deep impact. Number three would probably be.
City Lights.
Number three would probably be difficult. Man, number three would probably be of all time. Damn, man, why y'all ask this question? Number three, I would probably say is Holy Culture. That, and the reason is, I mean, that's the first Christian hip hop album I ever heard.
Okay.
Wow.
Like, and
But
I heard.
Christology came out before that.
I didn't hear Christology first.
You heard, okay, so then you followed. Oh, so you caught on to that like a couple of years after it was out.
Yeah.
Christology was cool. The only thing about Christology, in my opinion, was that the production, it just needed a little bit more personality in the production, in my opinion. Deuce's rhymes were ridiculous in that album, but that's just one person's opinion.
Me?
What about you, Shy?
Talk to us, man. Talk to us.
Christology, without question. Without Christology, there's no lamp mode. There's no a whole bunch of cats without Christ. Like that set a blueprint for what we now know as lyrical theology. You know what I'm saying? Now I know cross movement was doing it before, but Christology was the first place where you just had this concentrated theological emphasis on the person of Christ. And I mean, it's classics on that joint,
I
yo.
agree, yo.
So I would say Christology. This is in no particular order. Killing Sin, yo. Killing Sin, again, for me is, it just, I've never heard anything like Killing Sin before. Both from in terms of the uniqueness of the subject matter, so the idea of what does Christ-centered sanctification look like? Like how do you flesh that out? And just, I think it's lyrically brilliant. I think that the tracks match like the tone of whatever the particular song is perfectly. I think that's a brilliantly executed album. And then lastly, you know, I'm probably gonna have to say After the Music Stops, Lecrae.
I wanted to say that too.
And the reason why I say that is because of the impact that it had on the genre. So kind of like in the same thing what you're saying as far as Flame is concerned. I think After the Music Stops really took kind of what Reach and the brothers from the South were doing, and just, I mean, Jesus music,
Right.
just took the genre
Absolutely.
to another level.
I agree.
And I think as a genre, we're still seeing the repercussions of that. So.
Just a question. I'm sorry. I don't mean to butt in. I'm always talking when it comes to stuff like this. But okay, do you guys base like the top 3 albums on the impact they've had, or as far as the musical side of it? I mean, is like for me, like when I mentioned the albums that we had,
Right.
like, you know, it's more or less the talent. Not to say these cats don't have talent. I'm not
Right.
saying that at all. I'm just saying, but if these didn't make as big of an impact, would you still rate that as a top?
See, I don't know that you can necessarily divorce the two.
I agree.
Because, yeah, so you can, I guess you can kind of, you know, you can talk about just strictly the artistic side of things.
Right.
But I do think when you talk about if we're talking about the greatest albums, or I don't know if it's the most technically skilled albums, I don't know if there would be different categories, but when you talk about projects that shape a particular genre, that like, there's certain projects that after they drop, things are not the same anymore. And I think that has to be included when you start talking about greatness as far as a project is concerned.
That's true.
And
To a
those
certain
albums they may not be lyrically phenomenal. Like Lecrae isn't the greatest lyricist I ever heard in
And
my
he'll
life.
say that.
You know, but when it comes to creating songs and like after the music stops, the stuff that was done on that album was like, yo, like another bar has been set.
Oh, I got you.
And it just changed the game of what we know. Like everybody started doing that.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
true.
I think those they play a pivotal role in the album.
Just a quick question, not to take away from the artist. It's just like Cross Movement's first album did that for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
But regardless of if it made a big impact or not, I still thought it was a hot album. So
Gotcha.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think I would agree. I think all three of mine have already been listed. Because it's hard for me to think of albums that I've continually listened to over the past, 10 years since I've been a believer. But I think Heaven's Mentality was one of my favorites from the movement. Christology was definitely like Shah said, just the blueprint for me. And Holy Culture, I would say, just because for me personally, it was a time when I was actually out here and I was a part of what was going on.
Wow.
And it was just like, for me, it was just a good album overall. Like the movement, they kind of went a little commercial with Heaven's Mentality, and then there was that break, not Heaven's Mentality, but Human Emergency. And so like with Holy Culture, they had more of that organic sound again, and like a lot of the beats were really good. And I was really cool with Fish, so I was really feeling his production at the time, and he had a lot of beats on there. And so it was just an exciting moment for me, just being connected with the Cross movement and being around. So I think those would be my three. So yeah, I think that's okay.
Much more could be said.
Yes.
But amen.